Right, welcome to Tuesday morning. My name is KWAME, so always exhilarating when I get the opportunity to sit with you and to moderate the show. This morning, I am going to be delivering to you a number of issues that we have tabled for our conversation, which issues I think touches and concerns all of us. As usual, and as typical of Pan-African television, we're going to be discussing an African story. We're going all the way to the Eastern African country, Kenya, and the fallout from the demonstration, or rather the protest thereof. There are so many issues which have arisen by reason of the demonstration, and we are going to be dealing with those matters here on the morning show. Also, Oforiatta and Napo, the 2 times Apia Kobe broke ranks with the MPP. Blaze used a Blackwa over Labadi beachfront ownership, Daily Guide News. But I don't know why you brought this matter up again. Bless, please. No, I won't discuss this one. Free SHS bill, government to cancel BEC, extend SHS to 6 years. I have the distinct honor of being joined in the studios by Rodlin Ayana, leading member Alliance for Revolutionary Change. Good morning to you. For those of you who don't know this is Movement for Change, but because of the alliances, they've decided to call it Alliance for Revolutionary Change. And this is the first time I'm seeing her. Definitely we're going to have a very wonderful discussion here on the morning show. Honorable Abed is here. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Kwame.
I trust you are well.
Very well.
You're looking young. Oh.
Well, by the grace of God.
What's your secret?
He's preparing for power.
What's your secret?
It's the grace of God.
What you say? What's your secret? Everyone might say Revlon. You know that advert, Revlon.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to Kenya, and discuss the matters that are arising by reason of the protest, which was embarked upon by the citizenry sometime last week, and the responses from William Ruto in relation to that, and also the position really of the Kenyan youth, and right now we're learning that it appears that they're going to borrow more because they were not able to go through with their intended financial bill. Let's go there and discuss the issue. And I think that oftentimes we have sort of predicated the discussion on the economy by various countries, on our inability to generate revenue internally. Even if we generate revenues internally, it's not really substantial to deal with all the myriad of challenges that we have, right? And so we always look outside of our jurisdiction to borrow and to use same to sort of augment that which we've borrowed in this country for the purposes of managing the affairs of the state. But is that the way to go, really? Ghana has been to the IMF for a staggering 17 times. And yet we've seen nothing come out of it. Let me start with you, Honorable.
Thank you, Kwame. We are discussing Kenya again, but I will take it from the point of view that Kenya will be unable to raise the needed funds that they needed to do that led to the agitations over there. And therefore, they are now having to go back to borrow, because Kenya was aiming to raise about 346 billion Kenyan shillings. And if you convert that into dollar terms, that is about $2.68 billion from taxes. And they intended to raise this money through taxing bread, as we discussed the last time. They were also going to tax sugar. They were going to also tax vegetable oil, some import commodities and what have you. And this meant that the ordinary Kenyan was going to bear this brunt to raise this money. But earlier, in 2021, they had gone to borrow from the IMF. They had signed into an IMF program of about 3.6 billion US dollars. And that was not enough. So they had to resort to this taxation on the Kenyan people. And Kenya youth said no. Now that they have failed in their pursuit to raise this money through taxation, because I heard the president actually concede to the fact that it won't be possible and has withdrawn that bill. So it is not going to be possible. So the only option left is to go back to the borrowing spree. And if you consider that they were going to borrow, tax people to raise an amount of 2.46 billion US dollars, and it is no longer possible, and they have to go back into borrowing, then it puts so much pressure on the government and the people of Kenya. That must be raised. In fact, this year, before they can be able to manage their developmental issues. Kenya, after they had signed on to the IMF, also went for another money, claiming that they were going to use it for climate change. Okay. But if you check very well, the other day I was doing some investigation about what that money has been used, whether it really went into the mitigation of climate change. And absolutely nothing on the ground to show that they used the money judiciously. So I see all of these things as a further problem that the government is causing for the people of Kenya. So the unrest currently is not going to stop anytime soon. We should brace ourselves for more, because as they go back to raise, to be able to balance their books, then the more hardship they are going to impose on the ordinary Kenyan. I heard the president yesterday on BBC was interviewed by two journalists. And what amazed me was the fact that the President Ruto, didn't even show remorse of what had happened some few days ago. He rather was concerned about the fact that the demonstrators had destroyed government properties in Parliament House and in the office of the Chief Justice and all of that. Meanwhile, the demonstration has left about 9 Kenyans dead. 20, sorry. And yet the president didn't show any remorse, but rather was concerned that properties were, destroyed. Who caused it in the first place? That they had to go through that tangent. All of this, Kwame, I think we have discussed the fact that all African countries should take a clue from what is happening in Kenya, and especially Ghana. Not because I'm a Ghanaian, but if you look at the facts on the ground, it is very, very similar to what Kenya is going. Because in Ghana, we also have a government that came promising that they will never take us to IMF. Statements were made to the media by the president himself. MPs in the ruling government stood in parliament and made a promise that Ghana was not going to go to IMF. The Minister for Finance at the time, Ken Ofori-Atta, himself indicated that there was no way we could go back to IMF to seek for any relief. But shorter than they said it, we saw that they were taking us back to IMF. And now we are in IMF. We are in IMF and borrowing on top of the taxes that this government have introduced. Kwame, do you know that the government, the NPP government, have introduced over 52 different taxes? Import taxes, taxes on e-levy and all of that. And you know, Kenya also introduced e-levy. They also introduced e-levy. So we have overborrowed. And on top of that, we are taxing our citizens. And we expect that our citizens should be quiet. They should accept it and pay. It is not going to be possible so long as the citizenry are paying without its equivalent developmental project that will help them. Then you can expect what happened in Kenya to happen elsewhere, particularly in Ghana. And it's like with Ghana and Nigeria. And I can foresee a similar thing happening if we do not take our destinies into our own hands and change government that promise so much and deliver so little. That is what is going to happen. Well, I mean, in the midst of these agitations in Kenya, do you know that the Kenyan government attempted to block internet? Safaricom, which is the biggest telecom company in Kenya, announced on the very day that the agitation or the demonstration, the protesters were on the street, that they had experienced some technical challenges and therefore they had shut down internet service. It wasn't working. But that didn't help. It didn't prevent the people from trooping onto the streets, taking the videos that they needed to take and still broadcast it. Because you cannot shut down the internet forever. They have their phones, they will show it. The media were there. They have evidence of whatever was happening on the street. We are yet to see more of what happened in Kenya. So this should serve as a warning to all African government to sit up, such that what you are able to raise in terms of taxes should be used to benefit the ordinary citizen. If you take so much from the citizenry and you deliver so little, this will be the outcome. What we are witnessing in Kenya will be the outcome. So I would say that, Kwame, for me, Kenya is on fire. It's not going to abate anytime soon. That is a fact. So long as they are now going to go back to continue to borrow. And I think IMF should be re-looked at. Yesterday, I heard the IMF officials come to talk about the fact that Ghana is on a recovery path. Just because Ghana have gone to sit down on a negotiating table to renegotiate our debt structure. IMF is happy. They are encouraging more borrowing. Just like they gradually borrowed to Kenya and led them into this chaos, they are carefully supervising Ghana to go the Kenyan way. All of these problems in Africa is by IMF, and it is deliberate. And I'm telling you that IMF is doing the bidding of the West and America for them to recolonize Africa. Because why? It can't be that every Ghanaian citizen is crying that there are hardship in the country, and yet only IMF is praising the government for doing well. I sat here last week and I gave an indication that Kenya was gradually drifting into a situation where the IMF was responsible. Many didn't believe it because when I left here, I got calls and was told that, well, we had no option and IMF is the only way to go and all of that. And these were people who sympathizes with the government. But I can tell you that from my little experience, okay, as a member of parliament and what I have seen practically, I think that IMF is becoming a problem than a partner for development. IMF encouraged Kenya to tax their people. IMF is encouraging Ghana to also tax the ordinary Ghanaian. Because yesterday, you know what happened? We are told, one of the IMF officials gave a condition for the release of some, is it $200 million to Ghana. I saw that. And then he said that, look, they should not use the money, that the money should be kept. And I think that was why Isaac Adongo organized that press conference yesterday, to respond to it and ask businessmen in Ghana to go for dollars if there's the need for them to change dollars to do their business, because businesses must survive. So you don't go and take money and go and put it there only to wait for your payments to mature, then you use that same money to pay. What is the essence of taking that money? And the money is sitting there not put into the market for people to use. So I see that IMF is not going to help us today, it won't help us tomorrow. And I encourage even future government to be able to manage what we are able to raise in the country judiciously than to rely on IMF. IMF will not send any country anywhere. KWAME market. Otherwise, IMF is just a conduit for new colonization of the West, of African countries. And I'm happy that some of the African countries, particularly West Africa, have realized this. And they are rising up, either through military government, as we witness in Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, and other places, or even a civilian rule or change of power, as we witness in the case of Senegal. You know, that is what we expect in Ghana. That we don't want to go the military way, but we must be able to use our terms to make the necessary changes that will bring relief for all of us. That is the way to go. Because Ruto came promising, and the people bought into his promises, just like we saw in election 2016, where lofty promises were made, about the fact that we will not borrow to develop the Ghana. I think Baumia made that promise. He said, look, we don't need to borrow.
The money is here.
And that the money is in this country.
You've already said that.
That was what they said. And now, his boss, Nana Akufo-Addo, His Excellency, also went on a radio station to say that we were sitting on money and that we didn't need to go anywhere looking for money, and that the money was in this country. All of a sudden, the money has disappeared under their rule. And we now have to resort to taxation and then to borrowing. And this government have borrowed more money than any other government put together. And yet, we are still in a state of quagmire. There are no developmental projects going on. One village, one dump is zero. $1 million for each constituency never happened. One a district, one factory, nowhere. Yet, we have borrowed more money. We have taxed more than any other government. And we have gotten excess money, even from COVID-19. That came, we thought it was something that we would spend so much. But we rather took advantage of COVID-19, took monies from external sources, benevolent people in the country, philanthropies and companies also donated for COVID-19. We taxed the Ghanaian. You remember, even up to now, They are still taxing people who use our airports for COVID-19 levies. We've raised so much, and we have seen very little development in the country.
Thank you very much, Honorable, for your submission. Let me remind the viewers that we are streaming live on Facebook so for those of you who may want to contribute to the conversation, you can easily do so by going on Facebook, liking our page, and sharing your comments there. Now, I'm coming to you, Rodley, but I just want, for the benefit of our viewers, to read a portion of the report, which says, he said this meant Kenya would have to borrow 1 trillion shillings, that translates to $7.6 billion, just to be able to run our government, unquote. This is a 67% increase on what had been planned. But he also said that he was considering thinking about it, cuts in spending across governments, including in his own office, as well as reducing allocations to the judiciary and country governments. Many protesters objected to the tax rise by saying that the extra money would be wasted. The extra taxes were supposed to raise about 350 billion Kenyan shillings, while about 600 billion was going to be borrowed. According to the president, the proposed tax measures were part of efforts to cut the debt burden of over $80 billion. About 60% of Kenya's collected revenues goes into servicing debt. But the question then becomes, you want to borrow to service debt, but the debt that you are talking about is still owed to IMF, not so. So if you borrow to service those debts, then what's the purpose for the borrowing or of the borrowing? Okay, anyway, so these are the nuances that we may have to look at. But I mean, if you pull parity with what has happened in Senegal, for instance, when the young man, ascended to the high office, he decided that he was going to maintain the lifestyle that he was living. He was not increasing salaries. I think that he even reduced his salary, etc., just to ensure that the country is on a certain pedestal, right? But here is William Ruto, who was once upon a time a vice president of the Republic of Kenya, say that he's now considering cutting the expenditure of his government and some other parastatal institutions so that they can have, they will be able to have the latitude to govern, right? So clearly, I mean, this general economic outlook, if you want to even extend the conversation beyond Kenya and you pull in or you draw parity with what is happening, especially in Ghana, and so there's no difference really. So is the IMF the only way to go to ensure that we have economic independence on the continent?
Good morning.
Good morning. Ghana. Good morning.
Kenya. It's in the news now. It's an African issue. What's happening in Kenya is not just a Kenyan issue. It's an African issue. It cuts across West Africa. Our country, Ghana, has the same problems. Nigeria has the same problems. Sierra Leone has the same problems. And all of it has to do with leadership. With the Kenyan situation, I shudder to think of why they cannot be that great country that they should be. Kenya is almost the world's #1 spot for tourism. I mean, the tourist facilities, the way people flock there. And if you've been to Kenya, the climate, the environment, the people, you realize that this should be a country that should be capable of looking after itself. I look at Kenya and I see Kenya as Ghana maybe in the 70s. Because when we talk about development and we look, if you compare Kenya and Ghana, you realize that we are more independent. Because with the Kenyan situation, with the Asian influx in there, the Asian economy that is there, the Lebanese, the Syrians, the Indians, they seem to be the ones holding the country.
Yeah. For the entire Eastern Africa.
And you see it because in Ghana we had the same problem before the 1979 revolution, where Jerry Rawlings went and sort of like streamlined the Asian community, and trade became something that Ghanaians realized they could do and they went into. So these days we don't seem to have too much of Lebanese, Syrians, and so on. So especially when you look at the auto industry, like if you look at motors, the spare parts and things, Ghanaians are in there. But in those days, it was them. If you look at Liberia, for instance, we still have a lot of Lebanese, or the Asians, still there doing the business. They control business. So if you look across Africa, you realize that our economies are always tied to foreigners. So it is very difficult for us as a country or as countries in Africa to be able to strive. Unfortunately for us, we always have leaders that always want the easy way out. So we live in a country where instead of us producing, we feel it's easier to import. So you look at Kenya, a country with a vibrant economy, good climate. I mean, if they're growing apples and peaches and whatnot in Kenya, then it goes to tell you what they can do because they have the world to supply to. But what do we see? We see Kenya almost like divided, the poor and the rich. That's how it is. Yes, the whole East African enclave is divided. The rich and the poor. And you see it. I mean, you drive through and you see a beautiful school. People are doing horse riding. They are playing cricket. And on the other side, it's a public school and people are walking barefoot or in tatters. And it's okay. And you ask yourself, how? So you ask a Kenyan, what's your national dish? Apart from ugali and whatnot. For us, on Sunday, we will all go and eat fufu, jollof, ebutu and things. And they are still eating lentils and things like that. Those are Asian dishes. And you look at the whole setup. I asked one, I said, what's your national cloth? I mean, apart from everything else. It's not that they're beginning to wear African. Maybe you can say it's because of the weather. So they are in their suits and their jackets and whatnot. But at close of day, they go to the homelands. It's still colonial. They still have that colonial mentality. So it's social media that has awakened the youth because now global situations are open to everybody. So you can now see that the youth are beginning to realize that, no, our leaders are not doing the right thing. And just like Ghana, just like Nigeria, it's always been the same families that have been ruling us since independence. So you have Kenyatta, Uhuru Kenyatta, you have Riley Odinga, they're still the same people. Yeah. You understand? So it's the same people ruling everywhere. When you come to Ghana, it's the same thing. From this side, unfortunately, we've not been able to get a great one from Kwame Nkrumah's end. But then we have our present president. His father was once president. So it's the same ball game. Now, I'm looking at the IMF asking Kenya to reduce its foreign debts and thereby putting it in a situation where the president decides that I am going to increase taxes, even on bread. And you ask yourself, do we really need the IMF as Africans? I mean, the whole idea of IMF and African leaders is something like a marriage. You know, they can't just divorce from IMF. If IMF is to help Kenya, IMF should be helping Kenya to get jobs for the teeming youth, to be able to use their natural resources to make money and look after themselves. But that is not what we are seeing. The situation in Kenya, like I said, is also the same in this country. We have a country full of youth that do not have jobs. The only difference with our youth is that they are still sleeping. And maybe one day when they wake up, we will realize that they are not so easy to deal with. And maybe, just maybe, we may not be able to stop whatever is going to happen. It might be more dangerous than what's happening in Kenya. So it is good for our leadership to also take cognizance of the fact that something that's happening in Kenya can most likely happen here. Kenya has an opportunity to bail itself out of the IMF. We saw Tanzania refusing IMF loans during COVID and managing to still have development projects ongoing just by cutting certain things. So it is not just a question of the Kenyan president saying, I would want to, I'm thinking about. He has to do it. He has to cut the expenditure, executive. He has to make sure that all those loopholes, especially, he must stop the leakages, the corruption. Those are things that he must stop. Because if you're losing about 30% of your total budget for the year through corruption, and you're sitting there always wanting to tax the ordinary people who do not even have jobs, then it means you're not really thinking, you're not doing anything. Your people are not working. But it's the same with this country in Ghana here. We are paying people, Honorable, we are paying you to come as MPs, legislate, make our lives better. But it seems you and your group are making your lives better instead of the populace. We're paying public servants. We're giving them allowances, outrageous allowances, just for them to make life better for us. And what do we see? They are rather living the opulent lives and we are perishing. That is the African story. That is the Kenyan story. So until our leaders make it their point or their thinking that the people who brought us here demand that we do the right things and make their lives worth living. But we cannot have a Ghana where public servants, politicians, and people exposed with politicians are building mansions, are owning big businesses, are driving flashy cars, when the majority of Ghanaians cannot afford a meal a day, a decent meal a day. Yet our taxes, the little that we do, the meager jobs that we do, the kayayo that is carrying is paying tolls and taxes to people who not only do we pay them well, but they still steal from us and expect that we keep quiet. No one should talk. No one should complain because, after all, we are in government. Being in government does not give our leaders the right to dip their hands into government coffers at any time and to do whatever they want to do with the monies that they collect from us. So until the youth of this country and all other African youth rise up to the situation and to the understanding that we owe it a duty to ourselves to demand from our leaders good governance, good health care, decent education, decent housing, the right to have a job, because we need the job to survive. It is not only for us to sit and let leadership create jobs for their cronies, for their family members, and for their friends. That is not what governance is about. So Kenya is not a different country from African countries that are going through the same situation. I will think that in the coming days and weeks, we are going to see more agitations coming from the youth because the demands they are making is such that the Kenyan government cannot afford to not do those demands.
Right.
And for them to demand for Ruto to go, I wonder and I doubt if he will go. And that's going to create more problems.
Rodley and Ayana, the event is sport on the morning show now. So, Bless, please take notice. She's end the sport on the morning show. Brilliant submission. Brilliant. All right. Saka Salia just joined us. Shall we allow him pick his things from his bag, or we can just simply introduce him? Saka, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Kwame.
I trust you are well.
I'm doing fantastic.
Again, you are late.
Yeah, well, I'm late, but there's a reason anyway.
There's always a reason to your lateness.
Yeah, but today there is a cogent reason.
So the previous times there was no cogent reason.
Oh, I mean, I'm talking about today.
I'm talking
Or you want me to account for the previous days?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
We're discussing Kenya.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, let's go to. I think they have done justice to the topic. So.
Why you don't want to discuss Kenya?
Oh, not that.
Because you have a civil society organization, I believe.
Yes,
that in the
Truth
past,
and Accountability.
In the past was doing some good job for this country. And you're not happy that young people are beginning to agitate.
Okay, well, I mean, good morning to our cherished viewers.
Yep.
Good morning to my sister. It's been a long while.
Very long time. You're looking very good.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Now he's in Baumia's camp, so the money started coming.
So when you are in Baumia camp, money flows.
But why?
Oh, I don't think so.
Hunger flows.
Oh well, I mean,
your hunger to flow.
Yeah, and good morning to my brother too, Honorable. Yeah, I think that like they both said, for me, demonstrations are constitutional rights for people or any nation, especially Ghana. And if you look at the Ghana constitution and the Kenyan one, I mean, there's no much difference.
It's pari material.
Yeah, it's almost similar. And therefore, the youth who were agitating for their rights were right. But you see, I will always have a small divergent view, in as much as it's people's right to demonstrate. You don't demonstrate and insist that what you want should carry the day. For all you know, you are right or you are wrong. But you see, when demonstration degenerates into all manner of violence, burning ties, threatening the establishment and even the foundation of the nation itself, to the extent that the security officers themselves were overwhelmed, leading to, deaths of demonstrators and all those things. I think that is completely uncalled for. But what is most important is that you demonstrate, and after demonstration you present a petition. That's the democratic way. But when you demonstrate and you insist that it's either my way or the highways, I think that is bad, and no nation should take a cue from that. Like what happened in the Arab Spring, where people stood on their ground and expect that the government should, be overthrown. And this Kenyan situation, almost similar. You saw that when they were petitioning or demonstrating against the bill, the tax bill, and the president, carved in by saying that he was not going to sign the bill into law. I thought that would have been the end of the story. But the same demonstrators went further to say that, okay, now that we've been able to stop the bill, let's see if the president himself can go. And then they started demonstrating. The president must resign and all those things. That's the reason why, you see, if you are democratically elected and somebody wants to remove you, there are ways and means that the constitution, especially in Ghana, because I don't know much about the Kenyan constitution, there are ways and means of removing a president from office. It is not on the street. It's not by being a hooligan or, jumping onto the street and demanding that the president should go. But we saw that. And if Kenyans had taken a cue from what happened in 2007 and 2008, where the nation was at the brink of collapse, remember Uhuru Kenyatta, what happened then? To the extent that some Ghanaians were saying that if certain things were not done in Ghana, there will be Kenya. You remember Professor Mill said those things. That if the Electoral Commission did not do A, B, C, D, what happened in Kenya is likely to replicate in Ghana and all those things. So it means that it was a bad example for anybody to take a cue from. And what happened, a week ago, I think to me, even though they were demonstrating their rights, but they extended their right too far. And this whole Kenyan thing has some undertones, some political undertones. And the establishment, the political establishment, really is not in sync with Ruto. We also, even when he was in power, he was the vice president, the disagreement with his own president, then the opposition and all that. I mean, people are just trying to show him where power is, where power lies. And I think that if you just take it on the face value, that it was just about a bill, and therefore those who are calling for same to be replicated here, would you want to go and demonstrate and fought one or over? People will die. Those who say that, I mean, for what reason? And it's even a lesson for those who think that, oh, Ghana is the only country that is undergoing hardship. I mean, with the onset of COVID-19 and its implications economically, devastating effects economically, we have all seen almost even the developed nations like UK. Look at what is happening in UK. The UK Prime Minister will just come and explain, and the people will still say that, oh no, it is not COVID, it is not Ukraine. Look at what is happening in the US. Almost invariably, everywhere in the world, the IMF itself have come to tell us that more than half of the world is at their doorstep for help, due mainly to the COVID-19. So what the youth are doing, now every country is looking inward. And that is the reason why the people who hitherto used to help you are no longer, helping others, because they are thinking about themselves. And that is the reason why you should be able to generate internal revenue. And by the generation of internal revenue, it means that there has to be certain innovative taxes. And these taxes, I'm not sure that Ruto was saying that they should pay the taxes for him and his family to go and enjoy. He wanted them to pay the taxes so that he would use the taxes to prosecute the developmental agenda of the country. So if you look at all these things, and I understand that people normally do not like to pay tax. When you mention tax, even the Bible and other books, when the very moment the word tax is mentioned, people think that, oh, I mean, and especially the shortest and simplest or the cheapest way people used to explain of why they wouldn't pay taxes is that, oh, when you pay the taxes, the political establishment will chop it. When indeed there are mechanisms to check people from spending or pillaging the public purse. Right. But in all this, I think that I will condemn the excesses of the demonstration. I will condemn the excesses on the part of the military or the police, and I will also condemn the excesses of the demonstrators. We should learn from, the developed nations. When they are demonstrating, demonstration is all, they demonstrate peacefully. And when you demonstrate peacefully, the security apparatus themselves are able to control you. But when you demonstrate and put everything, and even the standard, those the key observers, and put their lives under danger, you expect the security to step in. And in stepping in, they also went far by shooting live ammunitions and killing, in the process, killing people.
What is the purpose of demonstration? I think for the purpose of education, let's all.
Yeah. The purpose of demonstration is to drum home your points or your disquiets about a certain action, certain actions of government or whatever.
Okay.
Yes.
So in that process, do you expect a result?
Of course.
Okay. You expect.
Of course. That is the reason why after demonstration you present a petition. Even if you don't present a petition, but demonstrations must of necessity be peaceful.
Yeah. So you when you are demonstrating, I think the general presumption is that you are trying to elicit some responses from government, and perhaps
of course, and not only government. You can demonstrate against public office.
We are not talking about any public. In this context, we are talking about government.
Okay. Yes.
Right?
Of course.
Let's stick to the context.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Now, when you demonstrate the first time, okay, and then you are trying to elicit some answers or some responses or some actions to be taken by government, and government fails or refuses to do that. When you are demonstrating again, what would you do?
So you can go and kill?
No, I'm asking because you
Are you saying that when you demonstrate and then
you see, let me tell you,
and your objectives are not achieved?
Let me tell you something.
You can now go for the jugular.
No, let's have an intellectual discussion. Okay, all right. Okay. Don't try to be sarcastic.
Oh, no, okay. No
I'm
problem.
more sarcastic than you. You know.
No, I don't know that.
So don't try to be sarcastic. I am saying that there's a difference between demonstration and protest. Okay? You are demonstrating your displeasure. You are protesting against something. What happened in Kenya is not a demonstration.
It's what?
It was a protest against the passage of a finance bill. Okay? And they want demonstration without, for instance, when it happened in Nigeria, there has to be a symbol. Something has to give. And that is why three people were shot in Ghana, Corporal Atipu, just to demonstrate, just to show that we will die to protect what we believe in. So, with the grace of it, and then MPP has done that before. MPP, in one of your demonstrations, yours was even not a protest, it was a demonstration. In one of your demonstrations, it's not a Kumi Preko demonstration, I'm not talking about Kumi Preko. The MPP, when NDC was in power, they did a demonstration, and now they even use it to say that, and the police shot us, and some people, they beat us. Yes, why? Why? Because you were defiant. Because you wanted to send a message. So, by sending a petition alone is not what will give you the response that you need. And especially in this situation when it was a protest, and the protest which was not partisan or partisan, it was the whole of the country or the young people, which constitute about 70% of the population in Kenya, thronging the streets. And do you see the people who are demonstrating? Business owners, young entrepreneurs. So in Ghana, you are explaining to us using the Ghanaian context where demonstrations largely are organized or protests largely are organized by political parties in opposition.
No, I see.
And you don't think that exactly? And the negotiation.
You have made your point. Or you are saying
point. It's just to draw attention. Let me cut on. I'm moderating the show.
I'll make some observations of some of his choice of words when he was speaking.
As far as I can follow.
Where he referred to demonstrators or protesters as hooligans. I don't know if you.
Yeah, you said that. You said that.
You did. No, you did.
He said it.
You did. Anything.
I mean,
No.
You cannot put words in my mouth. What I said is that if demonstration degenerate into people causing mayhem and then involved in hooliganism, that the government will come and clap down on it.
Of course. So
that's what I said. I didn't say that they are hooligans.
So because in the Kenyan situation there was degeneration, then there were hooligans. And you
are making that point.
You're not the first person to use that word to describe demonstrators or people who have who are agitating.
Why are you? Let's not.
I've heard this before, and I want to just make the point that even the first deputy speaker of parliament. The first deputy speaker of parliament.
Then it means that Matthew Puku is a hooligan.
Exactly. When he used the word hooligans and criminals to describe people in Techiman South who were aimed at and shot dead. Do you remember that? So to have
I don't know.
To have you sit on this studio, to have you sit on this studio to describe Protestants as hooligans is very unfortunate.
Okay.
So you are saying that.
So
that is your interjection. First of all,
what is it?
What is that?
Yes. What's submit? We are moving.
I really wanted to.
First of all, it means that we are going to make series of submissions.
No. I am saying, saying that if they demonstrate hooliganism, they are hooligans.
Okay.
I don't fear to say they are hooligans. I can say that.
No, we don't.
So what's your problem?
It is your right to say that.
What's your problem?
But I think that it's unfortunate.
If it's unfortunate, no problem. It's unfortunate they are hooligans.
Of course. So we have people.
Let's have some
So we have people.
So what's the problem?
We have people.
Honorable,
We have people who come begging to be voted into power. We have people who come making lofty promises for people to vote them into power, and when they now have power, and people are demonstrating legitimately, expressing their constitutional right, then they are described
I don't know whether you were
and criminals.
I don't know. Let's add your own words. Hooligans, criminals.
Hold on. Saka, have you been involved in any demonstration or protest before?
I've even organized demonstration twice.
Organized. Were you beaten? You were beaten.
In one of the demonstrations, let my vote count. We were beaten to pulp.
Why?
Okay.
What happened? Why?
What happened? We were just going.
Oh, you were just going.
We were just.
Oh, you were following the route.
Let me tell you. Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you. That fateful day. The choice of even the colors that we wore was to demonstrate that we were doing a peaceful demonstration.
Okay.
We wore white. Everybody.
But your heart was black.
No, listen. Why are you saying our heart was black? So on our way towards, because it was about a new voter register.
Yeah. So
that
you passed somewhere small.
We were demanding.
So you did,
because the old register was not fit for purpose. So when we were coming, the route that they gave us, when we got to the cathedral, in between the cathedral and then
which cathedral?
Oh, what is it? Cathedral.
Where is that?
The Catholic Sarah down.
Okay. I don't know the
traffic lights.
I thought you were talking about the $5.8 million cathedral. So proceed. Proceed.
So when we got there,
the
police, some of them.
Was it 58 million? I said 5.8.
Some of them. I mean, they ensnared us. Some of them were at our back, and some came to the front, and some were at our side, and they were just whipping, chasing people helter-skelter, and doing all manner of things.
You followed the route, and they started.
We followed everything peacefully.
Then we said hooligan. That's why they beat you.
So you described as a hooligan.
No. But I told you that it was a peaceful demonstration.
Let's proceed. Okay, so this one was not a peaceful demonstration. Once you are beaten, it means you're a hooligan. That's why they beat you up. Next time you learn sense. Anyway. Let me read this message from a friend. It says, the man speaking is not being accurate, which is Saka.
I know.
With this
did the person mention my name?
No.
So you cannot just sit here and make other words to test us.
Oh, you just spoke. You are there. The man speaking is not being accurate with the submission. Nobody wants to replicate what is going on in Kenya. If economic realities are making people despondent, what next would they do? That is disingenuous. Senna Mensah sent in this one. All right. This one says, I'm Yaosiki from Tadi. Say, we are in election year, yet corrupt Baumia keeps increasing water bill, light bill, fuel gas, cement, food stuff, and taxing the poor. After all this pain, MPP will come and tell us the battle is the Lord's. What kind of Lord is he influencing you guys to punish Ghanaians in this manner? Adenkra MPP Bonebe na Yayemo. Indeed, 2024. Indeed, JM24 job opportunities is youth savior. All right. Good morning to you, Kwame. Let the MP communicator know that the youth is patiently waiting for just few days to come to overthrow this government using the ballot. But if it were 2 or 3 years yet to come, they would have seen the true anger of Ghanaians. Alfred K. from China Pagaya.
You see the spokesperson for the youth.
Upper East Region. He's also a youth. Like, he can't speak. Hello, Kwame. Good morning to you. Greetings to you and your panel. Ghanaians failed to listen to sound and wise counsel and voted for a novice as a president because he came begging us to try him. Now we've learned our lessons, though in the hard way. This time round, we are not repeating our mistake and vote for an inexperienced person in the name of independent candidates. Hey, Masa, we will disagree with movement to disagree with you. How independent again? Kweku Nyameche from Accra sent in this one. All right, let's proceed and look at it. I've seen that they've picked some topics, but I'm not interested in them. This morning I heard a a recording, or rather, maybe was it a press conference or a tape that in which the finance minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, is saying that people should not peddle falsehoods and create the impression that the economy is on a downward spiral and that the economy is resuscitating. So we should all support government to ensure that government actually achieves what it intends to achieve relative to the economy. And he cites the example of Honorable Isaac Adongo poo-pooing the effort government has made in respect of restoring the economy. And to say that peddling of, he used a particular word, I'm trying to remember, but he says that their intelligence had gathered that sort of rumor peddling, speculation, thank you, speculation is what is also accounting for this economic malaise in which we find ourselves. And therefore, we must all ensure that we work together as Ghanaians, both persons in government and persons in opposition, to ensure that the economy is on a proper footing and that we are turning the corner. Let me start with you, Rodlin, on this one. The minister is rallying support for economic upturn,
I don't know which corner we are turning, because I know that tomatoes is still, you get about 2 for 10 cedis or 20 cedis. And I still do know that the ordinary Ghanaian cannot feed him or herself a very good square meal, even 1 meal a day. Speculations and rumors and whatnot. If the finance minister could be very, very truthful and honest with us and tell us exactly our situation as a country, our financial status as a country, that is where we will start to listen to him and also believe in whatever he's telling us. We know this is an election year. Definitely, they'll be trying to, massage figures and stuff like that. We may not be in the finance industry or a ministry, but we do know when things are good, Ghanaians know. When things are bad, we know. So he cannot sit in his office and tell us that probably we are peddling bad news about his government and the government is doing well. Government is not doing well. Nothing has changed. Prices of goods and services are still on the rise. And I don't think that they are even talking about how to increase salaries and wages for Ghanaians to go through these times. So if you go out there and you party and you go into a room, you play music, you dance, you celebrate. You celebrate because probably an IMF money is coming. Why do you celebrate for that? Money that you have not worked for, money that is a loan that you're going to pay for, you celebrate. And you come and tell us Ghanaians to sit down and keep quiet or think that everybody should say things are going well. When things are not going well, they are not going well. When we look at our forex, we're looking at forex now. The dollar is almost like to cedi, it's about 15 cedis to a dollar. When you look at those situations and you put traders, in perspective to what is happening, you realize that we don't really know where we are going as a country. So for a finance minister not to come out and tell us the truth about our situation, but to massage the news, to make it look like things are going on well for this country, I find that very, very, very dishonest. We are suffering. The prices of fuel has gone up. Why? Prices of water, electricity going up. Why? Meanwhile, you have not, you as executives, you have not cut your pay. You are not telling, you are still collecting allowances. Entertainment allowance, a house buy allowance, clothing allowance, people collecting clothing allowance. So if somebody employs you, you can't come in your own dress, you have to be paid clothing allowance. You're still collecting all manner of immoral things. And you sit there and look at us Ghanaians who are still collecting 500 cedis as wage. Not being able, a loaf of bread is 15 to 20 cedis, and you come and tell me that things are. Well, in my area, 15 to 20, you just have to squeeze it and just have a cup of tea.
But
so it's not a question of whether you're living in Trasaco or not. You're a Ghanaian. Whether you're living in, even if you're living in Trasaco, you're a Ghanaian, so you must be able to afford something. People are not able even to pay for the exercise books that their children need in school.
Mischief.
And we sit here and talk about a finance minister who only just came And it doesn't.
He didn't just came.
He just came.
He was a minister of state.
He was a minister of state at the finance ministry. Oh, that even makes it worse. That even makes it worse because it means that he was part of the rot in the finance ministry.
Thank you.
That is exactly what it means. And therefore, if he comes out and he's coming to tell us that we should all sit and not talk about financing or the fact that our situation is bad, then he's just as equally bad as the finance minister that he has replaced.
Is that what he said?
Whatever he says.
Did he say that he shouldn't talk about it?
He's trying to tell us that we are rumor mongering, we are lying, we are telling fibs. Yes, that's what he's saying. He's trying to say we are telling fibs, and that is not it. Ghanaians are feeling the pinch. They must rectify the dollar to cedi rate so that we can have some peace. Good governance doesn't mean that you alone should be enjoying, you and your cronies and everything. Everything else, the cost of transportation is gone up. Cost of utilities is gone up. Cost of medical care is gone up. And for a person, a minister of finance, to come and think that people are making stories, we are not making up stories. We are feeling the pinch. And that is why we are complaining. And we have a right to complain because we voted for you to make things better for Ghanaians. And therefore, it is not just for you to be able to afford whatever you want. I mean, when you think of the kinds of monies that we pay all these executives and the public officers and the types of things that they are capable of doing and they are not doing to at least ease our pain, it is very painful for them to sit anywhere and complain about the things that we say. It is not right. Governance for a people. That is why, that's how come we of the movement or the Alliance for Change are opting for a complete breakaway from this duopoly of scratch me and I scratch you, where you want to gag people not to say, and probably people are not going to be able to say anything. So if we have an independent candidate as president, we will all be able to work in this country. We will all be able to at least have our say and not do it business as usual. It shouldn't be business as usual. There must be change in this country. And we will demand from the youth that change. Because what is happening is that people are too comfortable in their seats, and therefore they do not feel the heat that the trotro driver is feeling, nor the taxi driver who has to drive around all the time just looking for a passenger. They do not feel it. They don't feel it for the kinker woman who has now to spend more money buying maize. And to the extent that at one stage they will tell you that you even have to buy pepper. This is not the Ghana that we bargained for. And therefore we cannot allow a finance minister who has come to look at the kitty. All we are asking, find ways to make the kitty profitable. And that is all we are asking. Not for him to come and tell us stories. If you can't do it, give it to somebody else. And that is exactly what Ghanaians are saying. The change must come. We will have to find a way to get rid of you too.
Are you done? You enjoy this?
Yes, I'm not done, but I'm just looking at people are not. Because honestly,
I hope you have the time.
because you see,
don't do that.
You see, no, the whole thing is.
Man finish.
No,
she's not
the
done.
whole thing is.
I don't want to do it. She's not done. Please proceed.
The whole thing is in this country.
Because she's speaking my mind. You see, Maza, a bag of cement.
It's terrible. Everything is expensive. Everything, and yet, let me tell you, I boarded a boat, and I was speaking to the driver, trying to, get his mind and everything. And he tells me, he said, you know something, there are people who I pick passengers at night. Now, and some are meeting. Say, and nipa be to me call restaurant go do 1 billion a night. Or much champagne 40,000. And in Masa. And I'm asking myself, is this Ghana? Is that what we bargained for? Is that what we voted for?
And those people, are they in opposition or in government?
They are in government.
How do you know? Did you ask them?
Because he told me.
Sami Jemfi,
he told me. Sami Jemfi
and those places.
Sami Jemfi, I don't pay Sami Jemfi.
Yes?
I don't.
So for all you know,
my taxes does not.
For all you know, the woman driver was talking about.
No, he didn't. I know who he mentioned, but I'm not saying it.
So I
know who he mentioned, but I'm not saying. But I'm only telling you that you are in government. The MPP is in government. Anything that is good or bad is the MPP. You are in government. And you are the ones. You are the ones that have made things difficult for us.
Power and Sami Jemfi had gone to spend this much money in Miami.
You have kept quiet.
Hey, like Sami Jemfi will find his witness.
We are not talking.
We are talking about money under people's beds.
Go and you are talking about Sami Jemfi. Take a trip to Dubai. Take a trip to Dubai and see the number of people that we see.
So you've
I'm
been
not.
taking
Yes, I'm not a member of government. I'm a
But
business
you've been
person.
taking trip to Dubai.
Of course.
yeah.
I'll even go again.
And then you think that somebody who is in government there, he cannot take trip to
No,
Dubai.
the type of people and the type of things that you come and tell us. Somebody in government.
Even you.
Listen, no, don't say even me. Even
No,
you
who
can't
are
say
you?
when
You are
you're
not
in
in
the
power.
private. I'm not in power. I'm a private
So
person.
do you think that those who are government were not private people before
I'm a
this?
private person. Look.
But he finished and she finished
Let
and
me
you allow
answer
her
you.
to
So
continue.
let me
Let's
answer
have
you.
a good
We
show. I
are
don't
in
like
this
this.
country.
You know I don't like
We are
this.
in this country
Do you
where
think
people
I
who
like
have
it?
If she
never worked.
interjects you, would you be happy?
Okay.
What's the meaning of
What
this?
work was you?
But she finished her
What work was
submission.
you
So
I
Janai
want to
doing?
determine whether she's finished or
What
not.
work was Eugene Ayin doing? You are saying that what work was Eugene Ayin doing?
Yes.
When he made all that kind of
Who?
money that was
Okujato.
allegedly, not Okujato. Okujato, look at the name. The name Okujato alone should tell your story.
No, I'm talking about
Exactly. So I'm asking you that Eugene Ayin. What work was he doing? Eugene Ayin, yes. What work?
What was he doing?
What was he doing before?
How would I know his
You
work?
wouldn't know. Yes,
How would I know
of course you
the
wouldn't
work he
know.
was
You
doing?
will say you wouldn't know.
Madam Rodlin.
So these kinds of things.
Thank
Now,
you.
when we are talking about these things, ruling people, you shouldn't talk because you are a big mess.
Thank you very much, Madam Rodlin, for your submission. and Saka, you know you are my friend.
Yeah, no, I know
And
that.
I will not deny you in public, neither will I deny you in private. And so when you are on the show and we are having a conversation, you know what I like and you know what I don't like. Let's not interject. Because she's advancing her argument. You may disagree with her.
Yeah, I know.
But I disagree with her in a very, I don't want to use some words, but you know what I mean. Please, so that we have a good show. All right?
It doesn't make the conversation civil.
Exactly. Good morning to you. Great job, madam. You really are fighting for Mother Ghana. This one also says, hey, now what's a near civil? Now, man, that can say. Good morning to you, Sir Kwame. Looking at the state of Ghana now, it's as a result of the wickedness and ungodly behavior of our so-called political. You are saying juggernaut, so please spell it well, okay? They don't care about the ordinary Ghanaian. All they care is their world, sending their children abroad, eating and spending anyhow, living luxurious and nonsensical lifestyle. See where we are now, very unbearable state. NPP current leaders been the worst so far in the history of Ghana. Any small thing you want, you have to pay money before you get it. Protocol everywhere. Okay, I think I'm done with that. The messages are plenty. Let me move on to this one. This one says, hello, I'm crying because I lost my investments of 4,000 Ghana cedis. Please kindly tell the president that Kenya, please, can you stop calling the WhatsApp line? Kenya will definitely happen here in Ghana so long as they keep increasing petroleum and LPG prices. Please, I'm a Ghanaian and I believe that Alan Cash worked with J. Ekufuor as a trade minister. We lost Ghana Airways and Ghana Telecom. The MPP man there, tell him we shall follow them to the end. Kenya will definitely happen. Good morning to you, Kwame. Who is the lady? I'm really impressed and I appreciate it so much when I hear or see well-informed ladies contributing to discussions on current affairs. Her name is Rodlin Ayana. Repeat after me. Rodlin Ayana. You can call her Rhoda. You can call her Ma Rhoda. Oh, no, she has a permanent seat at the table. You know what I mean? I like intelligent people, you know? Yeah. Saka is very intelligent, just that he's diabo. That's his problem. Hello, Kwame. I like the MPP man, but most often he speaks as if he has been programmed. Always justifying everything from government, as if he has no opinion of his own.
A robot or what?
Yeah, but he says he likes you, but he's criticizing you.
I like people like that.
Wiseman from Techuma sent in this one. And Wiseman again says, blame Captain Smart for the high price of cement. He carried a bag of cement. Oh, tell him. Ghanaians have a way of making you laugh even when you are sad. Hey. He said, somebody says after reading his message, you responded to his message as shit.
Me?
He didn't do it. Nobody did that. Good morning, Kwame. Why is it that MPP panelists always want to lie? Where from, Saka? Please bring on those who can talk the truth. Masa.
His truth.
Good morning, Kwame. Please tell Saka. Oh, no, Charlie. You can't describe my friend like that, please. But he said he should respect us. We are really suffering. Okay. Saka is not suffering. He doesn't see what you are saying, talking about.
Oh, please, don't say
Saka is
that.
rich.
Don't say that.
Saka, you are rich.
Me,
Say, claim it.
I claim it.
Good submission to Honorable Abed from Kansuk, Raymond. Good morning, Pan-African Television. Please, Kwame, please, and please, with due respect. You see, the messages are pouring in. It keeps anyway. Saka, if I come to Saka before Honorable, you interject when Honorable is speaking. So
no, I won't.
I know you would. So let me come to Honorable.
Okay, no problem.
And then you can, yeah.
So I can deal with the two.
I hope that
I pray it doesn't interject.
Oh, no, I will not.
Okay, all right.
I've always learned that if you are right and you don't interject, you wait to tell your own story. Kwame,
Yes.
our economic situation has gotten worse to the extent that we celebrate mediocrity and put blame where there is no blame. That is where we have gotten to as a country. Why do I say so? We are celebrating mediocrity because the first time I heard the Minister for Finance speak was about a week or two ago when he went to London to talk about the fact that they had succeeded in restructuring Ghana's debts. That was where he went to speak with the disgraced Attorney General. Both of them spoke very disgracefully. I'm sure we'll discuss it.
Saka is holding himself.
He went to say that
You've done well.
they had succeeded in restructuring Ghana debt, and therefore we should clap for them,
He's drinking water.
and that they had done very, very, very well. And I asked myself, what is debt restructuring? What is it all about? In simple terms, it is about negotiating with those that you owe, your creditors, to prolong your debt. And in some cases, bring down some of the interest rates that you have to pay. You understand? So when your interest rate is brought down and your payment period is extended, in simple terms, that is what is called debt restructuring. So when they succeeded in doing that, then he came to tell us Ghanaians that we should be happy and we should praise them because they have done well. And I said, we have bargained for more and got very, very less in the NPP government. In the first place, you have gone to borrow in excess. You have put us into debt. You have created a mess. And after you have gone to negotiate for restructuring, then you come and tell us that you have done well and that we should praise you. When in actual fact, what you have borrowed does not reflect in the quantum of development that you have put in place on the ground. How do we celebrate that? Secondly, if you remember, Kwame, when this government took over in 2017 and went to raise bonds, successfully they came back to celebrate it as an achievement and organized a Kenke party. This is the kind of government we are talking about, and that we should celebrate them. We should praise them for going to borrow money from the international market and come to demand on us to praise them for borrowing, putting us in debt. It's so unfortunate that we have found ourselves in this situation as a government. How do we celebrate this? You are not taking us out of debt. You are putting us in debt, therefore further impoverishing us and telling us to praise you. In fact, I feel for Amin Anta, the honorable member for Kariga, who is the Minister for Finance today. They have sucked the juice out of the coconut and given him an empty coconut. He doesn't know what to do. And he's there making statements that doesn't hold. That is one. Two, he's blaming people unnecessarily. How do you blame the Honorable Isaac Adongo, who is telling the truth to the Ghanaian business people? Isaac Adongo told the press that the IMF is advancing you, the government of Ghana, some dollars. But it comes with a condition. And the condition is that do not spend the money, put the money in the stock and wait for your repayment schedule to come before you use the money to pay. They want to secure that money even though they are giving you the money. That is what the IMF is telling Ghana as a condition for releasing that 200 million. Then Isaac said that no. But our Ghanaian businessmen and women need cash. They need dollars to be able to purchase their goods in Dubai, in China, and Turkey. So if you need cash to do your business, please go to the open market and buy your dollars. And that means that Isaac Adongo is speculating and inciting Ghanaian businessmen and women. What kind of thinking is that? And this is coming from a whole finance minister. And he thinks that the words of Isaac Adongo will put fear and that it will affect the economy. That is what he thinks. So we should not tell the truth. We should all pretend that all is well so that the economy would strive. Is that what he's trying to tell us? The economy doesn't strive like that. There are practicalities, practical things that happens on the ground that makes an economy good. And one of them was the exchange rate, which Bawumia told us before the 2016 election that when the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. It was Bawumia who told us. And now, when businessmen have to demand dollars in order to be able to import their goods, you say that when you talk about it, you are putting fear into the system. What are you talking about? I think that we deserve better than what we are having or getting from this government. There is a high rate of unemployment in the country. These are the determinants of whether your economy is doing well or not. I just talked about the exchange rate. I'm talking about the rate of unemployment, which is at the highest level in the history of this country. It has never happened before. Kwame, we sat in this studio and we talked about the fact that even international companies were folding up in Ghana and relocating elsewhere. Société Générale, they are all relocating. We counted the last time about 8 companies that are folding or closing their businesses in Ghana and relocating because of economic hardships, which include the fact that we are in an era of DANSO, which people prefer to call it doomsday. Very unfortunate. Today, have you realized that that man has been rewarded by NAPO? He has been rewarded and he's been made the running mate to Bawumia. Oh, well, we are told that the president has accepted him, and that today they are going to consult their council of elders. And of who dare the council of elders to say no when the president has said yes? So he has been confirmed, and it's very exciting that in this election 2024, we are going to have in an equation of an MPP going to an election made up of a liar, a big liar in Baumia, and an arrogant person in Napo. Equals to what? That is what the Ghanaian people must tell us. It will be very, very interesting in these 2024 elections. Because we have in a person of Napo who can insult Voltarians. Okay? We have in a person of Napo who would deny that we are facing doomsday. We have somebody who have run down our education ministry, that he has been promoted to the Ministry of Energy, and today, under his supervision, we are facing power crisis. And this is the person that, in fact, his colleagues in parliament describe him as an arrogant person. In fact, he has been in parliament since 2008. He's a four-term member of parliament. And his senior colleagues, like Andy Apiakubi, the MP for Achim, is it Upper Achim North, right? Achim. He's saying that he is not the kind of a person that he would have wished. And it's a reflection of all the collective perception of the MPs on the majority side. This is the person they are bringing. So our economic situation is going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. It won't get better. And that is why earlier on I predicted that a Kenya is at hand. Because there is a momentum building up gradually. And our youths, as you can hear from the comment that they are making, they are building up gradually. If we continue to have this kind of economic management team, which is headed by Dr. Baumia, and today he has brought Napo to come and assist. I'm telling you that by the time we go into the election, maybe the election will save the situation. And I know Ghanaians would prefer to change and then to have a government that will be headed by Baumia, that will further put us into a ditch. So I am not surprised today that a bag of cement is costing over 100 Ghana cedis. How much is the salary of a teacher? How much does an average nurse earn? How much is the salary of people who are civil servants that they can afford a bag of cement for 110 Ghana cedis and more? In some areas, when you factor in transportation, it is more than 110 Ghana cedis. This morning, I went to buy fuel. I didn't know that they had increased fuel this morning. Yes, they've increased fuel this morning. You understand? So I went to buy fuel, then I realized that I had paid more than I used to pay. Then when I asked the attendant, he said, "Oh, boss, you know, yesterday they increased some." You understand? So I said, look, so we can just go to bed, wake up the following morning, and then fuel is increased. And yet, when you tell the truth about the economy, the caretakers of the economy are not happy. They labeled you as inciting people against the economy. So we can no longer tell the truth. It's so unfortunate. I am an MP representing a rural constituency. And when I see bags of cement rising, fuel being increased, then I wonder how my people in the villages will survive this. Fertilizers are going to increase. A bag of fertilizer that was sold in 2016, just before the 2016 elections, as 80 Ghana cedis, the 50 kilos, 80 Ghana cedis. Today, it's about 600 Ghana cedis. And now that they've increased fuel, it is going to shoot up. And you know why? It is about 600 Ghana cedis, all because we are in an election year. Otherwise, we should be buying fertilizers more than 700 Ghana cedis per 50 kilo bag. Because that was what was sold in last year. It was 500, 600. This year, it is 600. So, Kwame, I must be honest. And I think that managers of the economy should be honest to admit that they have failed. If you have failed, you have failed. And you see, what is happening in Kenya? The president is in self-denial that all is well, when we know that all is not well. That is why they have gotten themselves into this mess. In Ghana, we are replicating same. Our people are telling us that it is well and we shouldn't talk. You see, you remember the statement the president made the other day that about Ghana money, that scam PDD. It is the same thing that the finance minister is saying. He said we shouldn't incite, we shouldn't speculate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kwame.
Let me read a few messages on Facebook, on YouTube as well. Boniface Omuhande says, as a Kenyan, I would say elected leaders thought that when they get to the seat of power, it's time for them to loot from the public office. We have an educated population. Listen to what he said. He's Kenyan. And he said that as a Kenyan, I would say leaders thought that when they get to the seat of power, it's time for them to loot from the public office. We have an educated population. So obviously, because they're educated, they will oppose, any attempt. Yeah. The Pan-Africanist also on YouTube says, hi, my sisters and brothers, it's time for Africa to take over. It's time. It's our time. Let's do it this now. Livingston says, KOD, do not let anyone compare NDC to MPP. NDC is better. Then Salome Agboche says, Saka is just a fanatic and a stomach politician. These are messages on YouTube. A few messages here, and then we'll come to Saka to hear from him on this subject matter. This one says, Kwame, the lady is making, a woman on Rodland, is making brilliant submissions, and Saka is interjecting. But Saka, can't you listen to sense more? That's how the MPP silenced people from talking. Madam, go high. Also, Kwame, you have to discipline the program. Oh, I'm trying, Sami in Adenta, I'm trying. Kwame, I don't blame Alan because he has also seen the lives of Nanado and Baumia, so I will call him a hero. The MPP must change Saka as a party communicator. He's always out of coverage area. By Baba Alaji Pru West. Saka will descend on you. Saka, don't mind them, okay? Good morning to you all. This is Mr. Tieta in Kumasi. I am not surprised at the demeanor of the MPP man. Okay, now look at him. He's looking fatter than all of you. He doesn't see anything wrong with the economy. Saka, you to smile small. Oh, God of mercy. Good morning to you, sir. Please, my name is Joseph from Mumpurugu. Please, can you somebody said I should ask you what you have done for your constituents, and you are there talking plenty.
Yes, please.
Good morning, sir, and your cherished listeners and viewers. Please, can you do me a favor and stop inviting? I can't stop inviting Saka. If that's what you want, then it's not possible. I'm sorry. Saka.
Yeah.
Let's hear from you, sir.
Thank you very much. And I hope you praise me for not interjecting.
Yes, you have done very well.
And I wish same will be replicated.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. First of all, like I always said, some people think that if you make a point and you continue making that point, it means that you don't have any other point again. But I've said that economies all over the world are not in good position. No country, in this world, is enjoying the best of shapes. I've said this thing over almost everybody, unless maybe people are cocooned to their houses or wherever, and do not even want to know what is happening outside this country. Everywhere, all economies are trembling. And indeed, if you look at this economy, Ghana was one of the 20 countries in the world that even in COVID, we grew positive. In COVID, we grew 0.5. A lot of the African countries, and indeed, sub-Saharan African countries and third world countries shrunk. They grew negative. But Ghana was one of the only 20 countries in the world that grew positive. Even though 0.5 is paltry, I think we take solace in the fact that when all other people were crying, at least we grew. The economic indices, we all know before COVID-19, we all know, it was the envy of the world. Ghana was the poster boy in the world. Indeed, we were the fastest growing economy for 3 consecutive years. The economic growth indices or indicators, averagely, we had 7% average growth of the economy from 2017 to 2020. If we talk about almost everything, inflation, even the dollar to the cedi, the depreciation, we were the best. If you compare us to the previous government, the inglorious John Dramani Mahama regime. And I'm saying that after everything, after the economic indicators trembled because of the COVID-19, inflation rose to about 54% in this country. We all saw that. We saw the depreciation of the cedi in 2022. We saw how it depreciated close to 30%, 20%. We saw how the economic fundamentals shook. We saw even the fuel prices of this country, that is the crude oil prices in this country, in 2022, we saw how it rose. And if the Minister of Minister of Finance and Economic Planning is telling us, okay, no, there is no longer economic plan. If the Minister of Finance is telling us that we are not doing well, he is saying this in a context. And for anybody to come and say that, why is he saying that we are doing well, we are not doing well? I don't get it. Because we have moved from 1 to 2. And he's telling us that if you compare Ghana from 1, the 2 is better. 1, as we are speaking, the fundamentals are getting shape, are taking their shape. The first quarter grew by 4.7. Indeed, when John Mahama handed over power to an MPP, the economy grew by 3.2. And now we are talking about a post-COVID-19 where the economy has grown within the first quarter by 4.7. And he said that nothing is happening. We are talking about a situation where the interest rates is improving. And he said that he is not doing anything. We are talking about a situation where depreciation in 2022, the depreciation of the cedi as compared to currently as we are speaking is better. and you say that the minister is not doing anything. We are talking about a situation where even when your mama handed over power to the MPP, debt to GDP, pre-rebasing, was 73.9% of GDP. And currently, as we are speaking, even before the restructuring is covered, we are talking about debt to GDP now at 71% of GDP. And you say that nothing is happening, nothing positive is happening. I see we are not in this country. Always praying that there should be bad news. If the minister has gone to meet with our creditors and successfully negotiated for the extension of our debts, and to even have haircuts, our creditors have actually given us about 37% haircuts on the interest of some of the bonds. And it did not just come by accident. It's not as if we went into the agreement and they say, oh, come, we'll cut it. No, it started somewhere where they gave us about 25%, then we went again. They gave us about 31%, then we still say that no, we still need to negotiate with you people so that you will help us, so that we will have some space. And then they extended it from 2023 to 2026. And then on top of that, we are going to get 40 in monetary terms, we are going to get about 4.7 billion. Another one, we are going to get about 4.4 billion and 2.2 billion. If you add all these things, it's going to inure to the benefit of the Ghanaian people. And then you sit here and say that, oh, why are we praising ourselves? It takes somebody with dexterity, with real negotiation power, to ensure that you get a favorable agreement like we did. And the finance minister must be praised for this. And you see, when we are talking about this thing, it's not as if these debts are debts that were accumulated by only the MPP government. It includes John Dramani Mahama debts that he left behind. We are talking. Don't tell me how much. He's telling him not to interject me. When he was talking, I was quiet. And I'm saying that this is Ghana's debt too. We are not talking about MPP debt. Oh, don't tell me 2 minutes, Kwame. When did that start? When did that start?
Spoken for 10 minutes.
Oh, me, I spoke for 10 minutes. How? It's not possible. You see, I'm saying that this is not MPP debt. This is Ghana debt that the finance minister and his team have been able to negotiate and to get us favorable outcome. Then you say that we should not. Look, I am highly disappointed in Adongo. He's my brother, but I'm highly disappointed in him. Look, we all know the reasons for cedi depreciations. The reasons are many. It includes the fact that, look, if you want your cedi to work, there are so many your cedi to appreciate. One, you need to push dollars into the system. And as a nation, we don't have the dollars to push into the system. Or you need to, because it's a demand and supply issue. So one, how can we curtail people from demanding the dollars? So if we don't have the dollars, the best thing as a nation is to ensure that people do not demand for dollars. Because if you come to this country, people who are not even businessmen go and then buy dollars and put them as security or as investment. Because they know that once the dollar is not in the system, and then the demands remain constant, the price will go high. No, Kwame, but let me finish here.
Yeah, but you can't.
So is that the reason why you made me to come last?
I'm looking at the time. I gave allocated time.
You see, I'm rebutting two people. I'm rebutting 2 people. So it's actually So I'm saying that for Adongo to make a video and to say that people should go and buy the dollars. They should go and buy, because another reason for depreciation is when the people are speculating. We have been hearing the NDC. Oh, please let me talk. We have been hearing the NDC every day. Even when the dollar was not even anywhere near 15, they will tell you it's 15. Now they are even saying that, some of them are saying it is 16, 17.
By 16.
Oh, the dollar, yesterday I was with somebody who went and bought dollars, and he bought them 15.
It's 16.
And then you are sitting here saying 16.
No, it's 16.
You see, when you speculate,
it's not only your friend who has done it.
What
are you talking about?
When you speculate, and incite people, everybody should go and buy the dollar. It means that. But why? If the person wants to buy dollars, you don't need to tell the person.
Saka, thank you very much.
Let me finish. Let me just one minute.
Okay.
If somebody if a businessman want to go and buy dollars, it is not Adongo that will tell him to go and buy. He himself will go and, because he's a businessman, you are not the one putting him in business. If you are inciting people, everybody should go into the market, buy all the dollars, so that when you buy all the dollars, the city will depreciate. So that when the city depreciates and people are suffering, then everybody will be insulting government, so you'll be happy. And then you come to power and now turn around to say that you love the people. And that is the reason why I'm saying that is fear and panic. And I'm sure even there are it's even tantamount to criminality.
All right, thank you.
What Adongo did is tantamount to criminality and can be arrested.
Alhaji Hamza Pig Farm says, good morning to you, my brother. Did I hear the finance minister say they know how to bring the economy back to life? God have mercy. MPP, for God's sake, should stop insulting our intelligence and credit us with the little respect we deserve as a country. The finance minister went ahead to describe Honorable Adongo as unpatriotic citizen because he's speaking the truth to Ghanaians. The only person who is being unpatriotic here is the finance minister. Are you aware that Ghana today has foreign finance minister in the name of Ken Ofori-Atta and a local finance minister in the name of Honorable Amin Anta? For God's sake, who does that? Truth be told, we are where we are today simply because of the arrogant posture of functionaries and communicators of the MPP. They always feel they know it all, but they know nothing. The future of this country under this wicked, super incompetent government is pregnant and hopeless. Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm sent in this one. Gabriela Tete also says, nothing more is painful than when you are not benefiting from your party in power and still taking insults. I'm feeling for Saka. Gabriela Tete, they are friends.
I don't know what he's saying.
Let's talk about any final thing that you want. Final comment. You see how they are
She doesn't know what
yes, you see how they are
what do you buy?
I think that
please.
when Saka was saying that if you want to push dollars into the economy, I thought he was going to say that for those who have them under their beds, in the polytanks, they would bring it all out. But we didn't get to that.
The dollars.
Yeah, the dollars. Because, when you have a government that has brought a whole lot of things, IDI, one district, one factory, one district, one dam, and all or whatever. These are things that were supposed to ginger up the economy. So by all means, there are certain things that this government could have done with all the monies that they got to have gingered up the economy, so much so that the dollar wouldn't be at 15 or 16, but they didn't. What they did was to share the money, allegedly. And therefore, we don't have the dollars and people.
Shared it.
Allegedly, because the people are there. Whatever it is, whether Alan shared it or Alan did share it, is your government that is in power, and so allegedly you shared it.
He was 7.
Your Alan is the one who shared the money.
Alan never got any. Alan never got any money. But the whole thing is that members of this government have been known to have money under their beds and in their homes. So the simple truth is there. So that is it. Alan has dollars in his bedroom. Nobody has come to say that.
There are people who have kept money in their politics.
No, yes, we know. Now we know that people have kept money in their house.
You know where is
Have you realized that?
No, but anytime there's
a video of how much they are still discovering at the Fidelity Bank of the woman.
when you're talking about COVID, everything that Saka says is about COVID. We had COVID. For goodness sake, we were not even burying them in trumps like how other people were picking them up. How many people really did we lose at COVID? How much did we really spend at COVID? It was the bloated accounts. It was the bloated accounts because Ghanaians looked after themselves. Yes. You bloated accounts. You bloated every single thing that had to do with COVID. After getting 1 billion grant 1 billion from the IMF for COVID. What accounting have you done? Until we get a full account, that COVID account, until it's made public, we will never know whether we made money or not.
But can Forenza went to Parliament to account for? What do you know?
I said,
were you not the
COVID funds
when we get the Auditor General's report,
you were sleeping in Parliament.
Good morning to you.
He was there.
Good morning to you. Can we give the viewers some respect? Good morning to you. I am Ghanaian living in the USA. I believe that we must tell each other truths and be honest with each other and towards our compatriots. If it is the MPP who created debts and the money they borrowed from outside, none of the former president had not done it, and it is time for them to go
so that the viewers can understand what she's saying.
It's not quite clear, that's why.
No, it's clear.
We're saying that it's MPP that collected the money and that not the former president did not.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Host. Please tell the MPP man that some of us know what is going on in the country. They shouldn't think we are fools. For them, 2024 is around the corner. You mean 7th December? We're in 2024 already. Good morning to you, KOD. Thanks for your good works. But please tell Honorable Abednego that his human relationship is too poor. Okay. Thank you.
Just an MPP man. So.
Oh, how can you be an MPP man?
Of course.
They say your human relationship is poor. You say he's an MPP man. Another allegation again.
Good morning to you. I am La Sambian from Bimbagu. And La Sambian is saying that, the messages, how do I even read them? Okay. My MP has spoken well on fertilizers side of the economy. Maize farming has been now limited. It's now limited because of the price of fertilizers. My MP has spoken well. MPP is the worst government ever. A bowl of maize is too costly because we are unable to grow maize. All right, thank you very much. Good morning to you, Kwame. Tell Saka that even when the GDP was high under the presidency of JDM, we could afford 3 square meals a day. But under the low GDP of your presidency, we can't even afford a meal. Ameshi Dixon from Who sent in this one. Kwame, please, I want you to be my lawyer. My name is Pastor Emmanuel Ni Latte.
Why he has impregnated somebody?
Why are you saying that? It's Pastor.
We are asking.
No, please, don't do that. Ask it. Is that the only thing you can? Even you, Saka, you need a lawyer because the way you are chopping the money now. What's the difference between 122 billion and 658 billion? Saka is mathematically deficient from Kwesi, Tapa, Abotwase, Biakoya district. Okay, thank you.
It has to do with the base.
Oh my God! Good morning to you, the good work for God and country. God bless you.
Don't go to owe more than you. Don't go to. Do you know that it's more than you?
If you look at it,
so it has to do with the base. How much do you have and how much are you borrowing? So now we have increased the base and therefore can borrow more.
So you can chop more.
So if doesn't even understand that.
All right. Good morning to you, and I want the MPP rep to know that Ghanaians are not fools, and we are aware of how you people are stealing and looting the nation to the extent of taking even what belongs to pensioners.
Look at
and his speeches are childish. Susie said, Susie Vex.
Susie doesn't know what she's talking about.
Susie Vex. Please ask Saka that how much is rice in 2016 and how much is rice in 2024. Please. I've given you my number already, Pastor Emmanuel Latte. Yeah, let's talk after the show. Saka, thank you. Honorable, thank you. Madam Rodlin, thank you. And today, Charlie, fire. I've told you that you have a permanent seat now here on the morning show. It's been an absolute pleasure serving you this morning with the Discovery segment. My name is Kwame OWUSU, so call me Champion KOD wherever you see me, and I respond. Shit, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Salute.